The last thing I ever want to do is unlock the genetic memories of my ancestors. There's just some shit that I do not need to know. Here are my immediate thoughts on Season 1, Episode 2 of Dune Prophecy. Hey everyone, this is Lenny here. So we're just going to get right into episode 2 of Dune Prophecy. This episode was titled Two Wolves, and this was a great episode of television. The first episode just kind of set all the pieces on the board, but this was the episode that really threw us down the rabbit hole of this Dune universe. Last time on Dune Prophecy, we saw a 9-year-old child get burned from the inside out. A galaxy away, we got one of the sisters, Kasha, who also was burned from the inside out. And this was all done by Desmond Hart, who is a soldier of Emperor Corino's, played by Mark Strong, and he looks to set things in motion to take down the sisterhood. So before we get into episode 2, just as a reminder, this is a spoiler review and recap. So unless you have already seen episode 2 of Dune Prophecy, I suggest for you to go back, watch that, and come back here because we have a lot of shit to talk about. And let me just say, once again, the special effects for this show is amazing. Whether it's the shots of spaceships in space, whether it's the levitating holding cell that Desmond Hart is in, or the cone of silence. I love that they're able to get the cone of silence in there. All of that stuff just looks tremendous. So after an inconclusive autopsy on Kasha has been performed, Valya decides that she needs to go to the homeworld of Emperor Corino, Seleucia Secundus, and let him know what's going on. Valya decides to take one of the sisters, Sister Theodosia, played by Jade Anuka, to Seleucia Secundus with her, so she could also be introduced to Princess Inez, who is supposed to join the sisterhood as well. And it's interesting that Valya chose Theodosia because Theodosia earlier in the episode made it very clear that she was pretty sure that what happened to Kasha was an assassination. But it seems like Valya notices that observation, and because it seems like Theodosia is observant, that seems to be the reason why Valya is taking her to Seleucia Secundus. Now, while all this is going on, Duke Ferdinand is pissed, and rightfully so. His 9-year-old son was burned alive right when it seemed like they were going to go through a royal wedding. Empress Natalia, played by Jodie May, seems to anger Ferdinand when she implies that what happened to him was an accident brought upon by the thinking machine toy that Pruitt owned. And the balls on Ferdinand to be like, hey, listen, I got all of my ships pointing directly at your planet, so watch yourself. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, but it seems like the sisterhood manipulated things in a way to embolden people like Ferdinand to go after Corino and his family. At the same time, Desmond Hart basically confesses to Emperor Corino that, yeah, he killed Pruitt and yeah, he killed Kasha and the reason why. Desmond Hart admits to Emperor Corino that a sandworm swallowed him whole and gave him powers and visions and sight. And the scene between Mark Strong and Travis Fimmel is great because the moment Desmond reveals that he is a soldier for Corino and that he is willing to use his power on Corino's behalf, and you see Mark Strong's eyes sink into his head where he's like, Can I really do this? Is this right? I don't know, but I sort of want to. It's great acting from both guys. Now, with this information, Emperor Corino has Desmond Hart arrested, but at the same time, Empress Natalia, who clearly is the one who wears the pants in the family, talks to Emperor Corino and is like, instead of executing someone who is on our side, why don't we use him against our enemies? While Valya is on her trip, Sister Tula has been tasked to use her protege, Sister Layla, played by Chloe Leah, and have her go through what's called the Agony. And this is a way for her to go back into the original memories of her ancestors and gain a deeper insight and get some more answers to the original vision that Mother Rakella had on her deathbed. Now, the Agony has been portrayed in Dune a few times. We saw it actually in Dune Part 1 with Timothée Chalamet, but it's done differently here because the Bene Gesserit doesn't have access to spice to use for the Agony as of yet. Now, instead, the Agony is a poison that is dropped into the eye, and this will unlock all of those original memories. Now I'm watching this, and even Sister Tula breaks down there is an amazing risk doing this Agony with Lila because, she's gonna go back and see all of her ancestors, and if she meets one particular ancestor, then there's gonna be shit. And there's a whole conversation about martyrdom and how important it is to sacrifice yourself for humanity because it's worth sacrificing yourself for. And we see how Lila is sort of manipulated into becoming part of this Agony ritual. It does seem like Tula doesn't want her to do it. She even says, hey, if we find other options, let's look for them. But it is thrown at Lila's face at every turn that it is her decision to do what she wants if she wants to do the Agony ritual. And she does decide that she's going to do it. So they strap her down. All the sisters are on a balcony or ledge or whatever, and they're watching like they're ER doctors in some sort of observation room. And this whole sequence was pretty awesome. I mean, one, just kind of breaking down the molecular structure and how that was shot. That was pretty cool. And this breaking down of molecules is actually something that is part of the Dune universe and the Bene Gesserit. Lady Jessica from Dune Part 1 actually explained how that all worked. And then we have Lila in the situation where she's at, where she is surrounded by all of her ancestors. And it is crazy because all of these ancestors, they look like zombie nuns. You can barely see their face. You can maybe make out an eye or a half mouth at times when they're moving. Now, this thing is called the Agony. So obviously, Lila is in a lot of pain when this is happening. Tula is doing her best to comfort Lila. She's telling her, just follow my voice, go towards the light, and you'll find who we need to find. Now, Lila does locate Raquella, and they are able to have a conversation, and Tula is able to hear what is happening through Lila, so she's able to reinterpret this vision. But man, yeah, shit got real. Dorita, Lila's grandmother, who Valya murdered in the first episode, shows up, takes a hold of Lila and possesses her. And that whole moment was insane. Harkonnen. And Lila, as Doretta, basically looks right into Tula's eyes and says, you destroyed my future, so I am going to destroy your hope, and kills her granddaughter. She would rather kill her granddaughter than to see the sisterhood gain any more influence in the Imperium. And all of these sisters in the balcony are watching all of this happening, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to end well for some of the other sisters, especially some of the ones that are a little bit more skeptical about the sisterhood. We got to meet Constantine, Emperor Carino's son, and Shannon, Duke Ferdinand's daughter, and we are reminded that this is an HBO show. Tits and ass everywhere. So while Constantine and Shannon are doing the dirty, it seems like both of them are trying to play each other for information, but Constantine is thinking with his dick and just talks way too much. So while Ferdinand and Carino are in the throne room, Ferdinand loses his shit and he's like, your stupid bastard son let us know that you are holding someone captive that possibly killed my son. I want to see him. I want to question him and investigate him. But Valya appears. She's able to defuse the situation. She goes to Carino and she's like, hey, let's talk to the guy that you're holding. Carino's like, I don't know what you're talking about, which is absolutely stupid. This is Mother Superior of the sisterhood. She's gonna know if you're lying. And Empress Natalia, again, because she's the one that wears the pants in the family, is the one to suggest that, hey, maybe we should let her question Desmond Hart, because it isn't often that we get the Mother Superior of the entire sisterhood to come see us. Valya is questioning Desmond Hart. He admits to everything. He admits to the murders, but he also accuses the sisterhood of manipulating the game and making Carino look weak. Valya wants to question Desmond Hart some more, but Natalia doesn't want anything more to do with that. They kind of dismiss her. So we have Kieran Atreides, who's the swordmaster for Emperor Carino, but he also has a love affair with Princess Inez, and it seems like that he is part of a rebel cell looking to take down the Emperor. We see him underground. He meets one of his partners. There's another lady there that seems to be part of the rebellion. She is a Freeman, but it is revealed that she is actually an undercover sister for the sisterhood. And she gives up Kieran to Valya immediately. We get to the next scene where once again Ferdinand decides to threaten Emperor Crino, and this time it doesn't end well for him because they release Desmond Hart and Desmond begins to burn Ferdinand from the inside out. And we see Carino's ego just blow up. And he's like, look, I gave you an audience. I was sympathetic and empathetic to the death of your son, but you threatened me. We're not going to do this anymore. You can now go home. We're not going to talk about this anymore. If you decide to come at me again, bet. That last scene, though, we have Valya and Desmond having that heart-to-heart. Desmond is freed. Desmond says, look, my job is to get rid of you and get rid of the sisterhood and bring the Imperium back to its full glory. And once Desmond reveals his plan, Valya decides to use the voice the same way she did on Dorita in the last episode. And it looks like that he's probably going to listen to her, but no, he does not. It's all a game. The voice doesn't work on Desmond at all. And we see the fear on Valya's face, and Desmond goes to her and says, I always wondered what your biggest fear would be, and now I know what it is. It's not that you wouldn't be heard, it's that you would speak and no one would care. And this throws Valya off, and this episode was amazing. Like I said, this really threw us down the rabbit hole after that first episode, getting everything set up. But this, now we are on the ground running, and there's just so much going on, and I'm really interested in seeing what is next for this show, what is next for Valya. Now that she knows that she can't use the voice on Desmond Hart, what is her next step? What's going to happen now that Lila is dead? How is Tula going to react to all of this? How is Valya going to react to all of this? How is the sisterhood going to react to all of this? And then we have Princess Inez and Theodosia. Are they going to grow a closer and deeper bond? At the same time, Kieran Atreides is planning this rebellion, but it looks like it might just get squashed completely by Valya, so we'll see. But if I was going to give this episode a rating, it would be a blockbuster. Yeah, this is what I was looking for in regards to Dune Prophecy. Like I said, I love the first episode, but this is really what I was expecting when it comes to the show. But those are my immediate thoughts and feelings on episode 2 of Dune Prophecy. What did you guys think of the episode? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.